Hey, it's streaming time. Hooray! I had some super last minute weird audio issues. That stuff is always super fun to deal with, but I think it worked out. Um, Let me know if you can hear me properly, or I'll go back to the. My t-shirt's breaking up. This isn't good. Let me know if you can hear it properly, or I'll just go back to the old settings. Wow, this is not good. Anyway, we're gonna make some video games. Just give me a moment. I will arrange my windows accordingly. Hey, it's Flash Develop. Our good friend Flash Develop. I can barely remember what we did last week, so I am going to take a little look. It sounds good. That's good. If you're happy, I'm happy. Slicer is the name of this game. A tad quiet, you say? I don't know about that. You can probably crank this up a little bit. I'm worried it's gonna... Something like that. That's all you're gonna get. I'm worried it's gonna be too loud instead when I can't contain my excitement. Anyway, so last week was mostly multiplayer preparation stuff. Right, and I was talking about eventually, like maybe doing playtesting today. That didn't work out because I have another thing that I need to leave for immediately after streaming, and I didn't want to terrorize my friends and then just immediately leave afterwards. So that might have to be the next week or the week after. In 2 weeks, it's actually Nordic Game Jam, which kind of sort of starts on the Thursday. This weekend is the Global Game Jam, but the Nordic Game Jam is a separate event that is 2 weeks later, which I'm going to, Nordic Game Jam. So that's going to mess up the streaming schedule a little bit. If I can swing it, I'll probably do some playtesting there and hopefully record that, or even better, stream it. But internet connections at things like those can be sketchy, and also finding somewhere to like set up all the stuff can be tricky as well. But we'll see. We'll make it work somehow. So last week were these commits. So we actually implemented per player scoring. That's cool. I fixed the colors for the players because they were a little bit broken. I did new counters for the players' scores. What's this one? This is a longer one. I'll move it so you can see. Players can now... Like this is why you write commit messages, so you can remember what the hell you did. Players can now only claim asteroids that do not have another player attached. Oh, right. So before, you could fly up to an asteroid, attach to it, and it would become your asteroid regardless. Now, if you fly up to an asteroid attached to it, it becomes your asteroid. And then when the second player comes up to it and attaches, nothing will happen. Before, it would just transfer to the latest player who touched it. But I changed it so that if you stay attached to the asteroid, it will stay yours. And then when you detach, and if they're still there, it will become their asteroid. So it's basically whoever touches it last, kind of. You get it. Hopefully that's going to be like the least annoying way of doing it, because the reason I did it that way was because I didn't want to encourage like tedious behavior, basically, in when you're playing. And like that's sometimes that's something you want the players to do, but most of the time it's better to set up the rules so that doing the tedious thing is not the best thing. I believe the example I took last time was rolling in the Zelda games. So in some of them, I think It doesn't really matter if it's true or not. It's a good example still, but in some of them, rolling, like doing the like forward roll, is a little bit faster than walking. So what players will do is that they will roll all the time. And that's just really annoying. Like, it doesn't really, it's not something you want the player to do, I don't think. It's something you just need to think about. Like, is this something I want the player to do repeatedly all the time? And if the best way to do it is the annoying way, players will do it the annoying way, even though it's annoying. What is this? Oh, right. So it hides the score as long as the players are, as long as it's 0. Which is kind of a hack, but that'll work. I don't know if you guys can hear this. It seems like it's kind of loud. It is to me. Okay. Collapse. Flying around. Every week, I just make sure that everything still works as intended. Seems okay. So when this goes in the wormhole, my score should appear. And now I happen to be in the lower right, but that's fine. Points. That's a good score there. I want you. 1,000 points. Yay. The text also dynamically realigns, which is pretty cool. What are you saying in the chat? You don't need to see that corner anyway. I don't know why you didn't get an email. That it might be just Twitch being weird. We'll see. Do you want me to lower the volume? Lower the volume of what, I wonder? I'm going to assume you mean the game, but... Let's put this in just for fun. And we got some minus points, that's also cool. I'm happy I redid the catching radius of the black hole. So like if I go past, so for the players it's the center point of the player, so I can go like up until like this area, like just inside the yellow thing with my center point, and it will catch me. Actually a little bit longer, that's interesting. But kind of that area. But the asteroids, they used to be the center point, but now it's actually the average radius of the asteroid needs to be past that. So it's like from the center point, it calculates the average radius of these points. And once that goes past the edge, it will fall in. So it falls in a lot faster now than it used to do. So this guy would probably go in once like it's past like here. Yeah. I like that change. I hope the game audio is a better volume now. One thing I want to try, I suppose I have to. Because one thing that I really did at the very last minute last time was like the end of the game. So what happens now is that there's just a timer, like it's a set time. Somewhere, score, timer, max seconds. Is that the one? Suppose it is. Why is that 5.8? That's interesting. I can't remember how this works. So this is all written like at the very, very last moments of the Mojam. So the game's updating, and the time that's been played plus the sound trigger is bigger than that. Okay, so that's... Okay, so these are both in seconds. That just happens to be an integer. Doesn't really matter, but since they're both measuring the same thing, I reckon they should be the same type of value. So, and it hasn't triggered the timeout sound. It will play the timeout sound, which that's a good sound. It's absolutely insane. And if we have a timeout and the timeout hasn't been triggered before, it will do that. So that's all cool, but this means we can, so if I want to make the round shorter, I just lower this number. So let's set it to, let's comment that out and set it to a 10-second round. I want to see what it looks like when it ends with multiple players. It won't look any different. I just want to remind myself. So we got a player here, a player here, and a player here. That's the ending sound. It's pretty discreet. Actually, it accepts the inputs after. That's fun. So maybe that's something we need to look into. And also, like, it would just display the numbers. It won't actually announce who won or who didn't win or anything like that. So maybe that's something I need to look at. That will be fine for now, but maybe that's something to consider. I'm also, like, that's one of the things I need to check for the... Oh, here's an old to-do list. These are done. Those two on the first two lines there are actually still something I need to consider. So for playtesting, I am worried about round duration. Like, are the rounds like a good duration? Does it feel like it gets stale? Is it fast enough? Because that's always something I can increase, like make the ships move faster or make the asteroids lighter. There are many things I can do with that. And then another thing, if I do want to make it a multiplayer thing that I'm worried about, which the game really doesn't encourage right now all that much, is it's like you'd be flying around with your little spaceship, basically minding your own business the entire time, which worries me a little bit because I'm up here doing my little asteroid. Unfortunately, okay, I need to make the rounds longer again. That sound is so incredibly aggressive. Right, so like I'm up here minding my own business, mining my own business even. Is there any incentive for me to go down and mess with the other players? I doubt it. Like if you really want to get a good score, I don't think there's much incentive for doing that, unless there's a way to detach someone from an asteroid, which there kind of is. Like say, okay, this is this guy right here. This is going to be my asteroid, and I'm working so hard to harvest this asteroid. Cut it off there, maybe, and then second. Oh no! I actually spawned inside the asteroid. I didn't even know that was possible. No, I spawned attached to the asteroid. That's also interesting. But I'm the second player, like the annoying second player. And I come in and I want to steal this. I can actually do that, and both of us will fall off, and the asteroid will become mine. Which I didn't think of before, but that is kind of good. It's so incredibly hard to test these things when you're on your own, but that's good because that gives you an actual incentive to go and mess with the other players. Because if they've done the work to like extract the asteroid, you can go steal it from them. But then on the other hand, you get the opposite problem. Like, what if the best way of getting points is stealing them from the other players? I think it's going to be the biggest problem is going to be in when you're playing two-player, because then it's going to be, if you're going to go bother someone, it's going to be the other player. If there's three of you, you can always like escape the fight a little bit and go and do your own thing. Like, okay, I don't want to fight with you guys. I want to go harvest my own asteroids, which kind of would be cool. Hey, Roctopus. I also happen to notice, by the way, that I'm on a good track to 1,000 followers on Twitch. So if we could make that today, that would be cool. I don't think we will, but with your help, we can achieve excellence. Or, well, I guess but really I can achieve excellence. But I need your help. So you know where the follow button is. All 24 of you, or however many are watching. But let's do some programming. One thing that sort of annoys me that I think I want to fix before I do playtesting on this is the controls. So right now, I am aware I'm jumping all over the place here, but that's the way my brain works. So the controls right now is this A button for like attaching and detaching from an asteroid. Holding on to it, and the X button when you're just flying around. The drill button does nothing. So the drill button is only really doing anything when you're attached to an asteroid. So what I was thinking about is making it so that if you go up to an asteroid and tap the button, you attach. If you hold while attached to an asteroid, you drill. And if you tap when attached to an asteroid, you release. What are people saying in the chat? Oh, different things. That would be cool, because that gives us one less input. And I mean, right now we're not exactly starved for inputs. Like I have this entire giant controller to spread my wings over, but fewer buttons is simpler, and in a weird way, I think they're kind of the same thing. So I want to try that and see what it feels like. Because if I do want to add something else, like a turbo boost or a gun or something like that, I'm all of a sudden at 3 buttons, and that's pushing it, I think. I don't like inputs. I want to keep that as low as possible. So let's try and code that today. Nasiwam is suggesting maybe some time-limited super asteroids would encourage players to fight each other. I can't talk today. Maybe some time-limited super asteroids would encourage players to fight each other. Yes, that's a good idea. Like, oh hey, kind of like the UFO in asteroids. Sorry, not asteroids. I mean space invaders. Like this one thing that sort of comes past. It's like, oh, everybody scramble to get it. I do kind of want to try adding computer players at some point, either enemies or AI players. That would be very interesting. I think actual smart AI that would play, like that would be challenging to play against, is a tall order for me in this game. Because like physics engine, like high level strategic planning, like, oh, this one looks the best, I want to get that one into the thing. I don't know. But it would be fun to try. But let's take a look at the controls first. I didn't change anything here, did I? Oh, I did. What did I change? Oh, that one. Sure. Made round time a float because of reasons. So in player, we have the input code, which right now looks like this. So it's handling the button press. And if there are two buttons to press, there's the attach button and there's the fire button. And fire is the laser button. So really you're holding that button. So we'll try that. So let's make it the attach button. That's going to be like the universal thing. So attacher toggle. Now this is going to need some different logic here. Just comment that for now. Actually, it's probably smarter to do it that way. We'll make sure that we can copy these lines if we need them. So now I'm going to go if e index, and that would be the number of the button on the input. So I'm abstracting away. Like at this point, I don't know if it's a keyboard or a joystick or hell, even a mouse if I wanted to. I just number the inputs. So the actual game implementation doesn't have to care about where the inputs are coming from. It will just get like, here are the directions. This is the buttons that are being pressed, which is nice. So if index, let's do it this way. If it's not the attach button, we're done here. So we can just bail. I guess I like this style of like early out type of logic, because I don't want to wrap the entire thing in an if statement, because that can get kind of ridiculous if you have to check 3 or 4 times. So then you just put lines at the top, like these are things that will make it just jump out. Because this function, we don't care. If the input isn't the attach input, we don't care. We just want to get out. You can try at home, if you'd like, to keep count of how many things I'm drinking. There's quite a lot of them. So now we need to know the state of the input as well. I don't know if we're actually getting that in the event. I don't think we are. Oh, it's down or up. That's true. So we basically, let's try and think of how many variations we have. We have pressing the attach button or pressing the button when you're just in space. That does nothing. So if attacher has target, I think. If it does not have a target, that's like the first half of the, so it's like you are pressing the button and you are in space. The other option is you are pressing the button and you are attached. We also need to deal with the pressing down and letting up. Oh, this is on the button going down. So this is going to be, yeah, we've got some stuff to do here. So if it's not the attach button, get out. If we are just in space, we will try to attach to something. So that's going to be attacher It's not even going to be toggle. It's going to be... I suppose we can use toggle for now. If attacher doesn't have a target, we can toggle. Because that just saves us the hassle of rewriting that. If that didn't work, I think toggle will tell us that as well. Interesting, right? Yeah, this unfortunately deals with playing the sounds, but that's fine. So this will try its best to attach to something, and that's really all the things we need to do if we do have a target. If we don't have, or if we already have a target, things are different. Because on the down, we can't do anything. Now that I think of it. So basically, when I press the button down, we just look like, is there anything to attach to? And if there is, we attach to it. Then the question is, when do I let go? And that's the interesting part. So we'll make a little variable somewhere. Yeah, let's do it that way. So if we don't have a target, we'll try that. If we do have a target, we will make a variable here called input down time, which will be the current time. Promote that to a class member. That's cool. So down here, when the button is going up, if lib get timer minus input downtime, so that will give us the time elapsed since the button went down, is smaller than player input tap threshold or something, I don't know. Actually, we don't need it to be player. Just name it input tap threshold. Okay, this is, no, that was fine. That thing tends to crash from time to time. Which doesn't even crash, just freezes forever. We'll move this guy down to the inputs. That is going to be an integer, and it's going to be in milliseconds. I don't know, a good tapping time is 100 milliseconds, let's say. So if I press a button and release the button within 100 milliseconds, it will toggle the attacher. And this is also assuming that I do have a target, because if I release it, so we can do this thing again. So if it's not the input attach, we can just bail. If attacher doesn't have a target, we can also just get out of here. If it's like a quick tap, we toggle the attacher. If it's not, we fire the laser, I think. So for this guy, can't remember how it's actually deciding if the laser should go up. It's probably in here somewhere. Is the charging? Input is down. We'll try that. We'll see how this goes. I'm not entirely sure I changed all of it, but we'll see. It's worth trying. that kind of works. And it does make the noise if I try. It doesn't do the drilling sounds, and it doesn't reset properly, but it does kind of work. I think it's because there's still some stuff attached to the fire button, possibly. No way. Did that just compile? I am impressed. So if attacher does not have a target, it will return. Like, it's doing all this stuff. I think this might be relevant too. We'll see. I'm gonna try this with the, because before it was just going fire when I released the button, and when I pressed the button it would check if there was a target, and if I didn't have a target it would just play the fail sound. So this shouldn't be super different unless this happens to be relevant for what I'm doing. If attacher does not have a target, it will set the laser to off. Let's put that in here, just maybe. Okay, this is the flash version. I can't play that with the gamepad. So that starts the laser sound. Okay, I need to look into this. Shadow laser, where do you come from? So it's some state thing. So this is probably what happens first. Set laser state. Let's add some tracing here. Set laser state to new state was laser state. We can try and find out what's going on. I'm using the wrong keys. So set laser state to off was off. That's a bit redundant, but that works. So I attached laser state to started was off. So the question is, why does it go to started? That's the first. So if the attacher has a target, so something is getting messed up here. Because it's not checking the inputs here, it is checking the input here and here. So it's charging, is still whether or not the attached input is down. Right, and that will be down. I know. So the trick is, for the brief moment, the brief little 100 millisecond window where I just pressed the button and it's waiting for me to release. Right now, it immediately starts charging the laser. I can't do that because that would mean, or the game doesn't deal with that right now. So what I can do is I can wait for those 100 milliseconds before I decide. So like I wait, you press the button, I wait 0.1 seconds. And if you release the button within that window, nothing ever happened. And if you keep holding it, you will start drilling. So we'll try that. Maybe time to let's say input was no, say function get input is tap. That will return if input is tap. We'll make this into a getter function up here. Where's the rest of those guys? Like here. And that means we can do that. See how that works. Not super encouraging to begin with. Let's put some breakpoints in here. So I don't know what the state is right now. So laser state right now is off. That's kind of good. Check if it's charging. So check if it's a tap. I don't know how that's going to return now. It's going to consider the laser to be started. Let's do this. We can keep a little bit better track of what's happening. Is tab false? Is that ever true? Or is it just scrolling past too quickly? Oh, right. So I can't do that. I need to do it this way. So if attacher does not have a target, it will do those things. And now, after that, we check again. So if attacher has target, we'll start the charging. That makes more sense. And we'll get rid of those two, because I don't trust them right now. This was harder than I expected it to be. Let's step through this. Now input downtime is an actual value. That's good. It's going to dispatch a few events. We don't really care about those all that much. The question is what happens when it gets here. Is this where we're at now? Yes. So the laser state was off. It's not inside. Is it charging? I don't believe it is charging. This was awfully complicated. Let's exaggerate that a little bit. And we can do that just to make sure. Super quiet audio. Are you sure? That's not good. We'll crank it up a little bit. Maybe that's better. What the hell? Let's do it this way. I reckon that will be better. Can't play with that. Is tap false? Okay. Look, is tap true? That's good. Time since press 3. So this should mean that it's not charging yet. We'll see. Unfortunately, it's a little bit hard for me to tell what the actual result will be, other than oh, come on. So it went in there. So that means it thinks it is indeed charging. I don't agree. So if the input is down, that is input attach, and the input is not tap, then it's charging. But it just said that the input was a tap, so I don't know. What that means. Great stream, blah, blah, blah. That was my audio stuff. That was not OBS. I am actually streaming with OBS. I don't know. I suppose it is charging. No, it's not. It should be waiting. Let's do the same thing here. See if we can get to the bottom of this. Just do that, just to reduce the complexity of this crap. That means we can actually break inside of this function and see what's going on. Because it might be the fact that the timer is still updating even though the game is stopped. So like time is moving in the game right now. So right now the game thinks I pressed the button at 5,900 milliseconds. So we'll go into this and see. So time, yeah, that is definitely still moving even though I'm not doing anything to it. Maybe we should do not that. We can use the game's internal or the object's internal time instead. Just so I can debug this easier. I think that will solve our issues. So now, just for debugging, I have this duplicated like 10 times all over the place. Which is the whole reason I started this journey. So now there shouldn't be any lib get timer calls in here. Tuner? There isn't, so that's good. So attach, now the input downtime is 5.19, which I suppose makes sense. Now I stepped over that. I think that means, yeah, that is at least behaving differently. I can go here. Okay. So now it is working as intended. It's just the way I did it was wrong. So now if I fly up to an asteroid and just tap it, it will immediately detach me, which is not what I wanted. So that needs to change. So I think I might actually need to keep track of if I was attached to an asteroid when I started or not. I'm slightly, ever so slightly regretting starting this, but hey, here we are. Fly up to that. Now I disable the detached code, so I can't get away from it. But now I don't know. You can kind of see it in the lower right of the stream the time since I pressed the button when I release. You're seeing old entries, but like if I hold it for a long time, you can see there's like a 7 point something there scrolling by now. But it is not drilling. I don't know why it's not drilling. So I think that the game still thinks I am actually pressing the button. So time is 30. Oh, right, this is still in milliseconds and that is a very big value. So let's change that into a float and make that like 0.2, just to exaggerate a little bit. And then try again. So time, when I first press, this is going to be really small. It's not a number even. What does that mean? Input downtime is not a number. How the hell? Oh, right. Input downtime, this needs to have a default value, like minus 10,000. That's a good default value. totally not a number I just pulled out of my behind just now. So this means it was, if I just press the button, it considers it 10,000 seconds since I pressed it last time. But that won't matter the first time I press it. So we do that. I'm now spawned. I can press the button, nothing happens. I can fly up to an asteroid. Let's say this one. I can attach to it. The sound is playing. And I can actually drill it. That's kind of cool. Boom. 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 It makes kind of a big difference if it has the effects like the sound and the screen shake and all that. See if I can get detaching to work. So we don't need this anymore. We probably need these. Those are probably why it's rendering wrong. We don't need all this stuff. The fail sound, that's not going to happen anymore. So now, this should make it so that if I fly up to an asteroid and just press the button, like tap it, I would just immediately detach again. No? Yeah, I was just too slow before. So now I have to fly up to an asteroid, press it and hold it, it will start drilling. I don't know why it doesn't trigger the explosion stuff. I thought that was all dealt with by that thing. Apparently not. So I'm guessing there's a couple of things we need to keep track of here. First of all, I think I might want to see what kind of tap duration I have in other things. I think like 0.2 seconds is kind of a reasonable number, but I'm not entirely sure. Spawn warning time, click time threshold, 150 milliseconds. So this isn't out of the ordinary. Let's make it 0.2. So that the issue right now is flying up an asteroid and tapping really quickly, because that means it will attach and then immediately detach. So I need to keep track of the state here, I think. So it's going to be var input was attached on down. Make that false. Add the button down. If attacher does not have a target, it will toggle. So we go if was attached on down, attacher has target. I think I broke something somewhere. Oh, I'm in the wrong project, that's why. Yeah, so if the input was attached when I press down, and the input is a tap, I don't want to release. I also don't want to fire the laser. Right, so else if input is not a tap, I want to do this. This is all a giant mess. Flying around. Okay, so that still happens, the quick attach. Maybe I just made it the wrong way around. Was attached on down, oh right. Maybe like that. So that means it would be true. I'm just trying stuff now. I'll admit that. So far, so good. Can't detach. Let's investigate that. So if attacher has target, that's kind of a problem too, right? Well, I suppose that's fine. Yeah, this needs to go before that. We'll get to the bottom of this one day, someday. Yeah. Okay, here we go. Pressing in empty space won't do all that much. So it checks if it has a target. It was not attached on down, right? Yeah. So that also doesn't start. That's cool. Annoyingly, this won't get the key up event unless it has focus. So we got to do this to see what happens with the key up. If attacher has target, it will return. Or if it doesn't have a target, right? That's all good. So that I suppose that works too. So we'll fly up to this guy and just tap real quickly. So now we released. It was not attached when we pressed. If the input is a tap, I don't know. And that is not true. So that's good. So if this is a tap, it should toggle the attacher. Right. And this will end up being a detach, I would hope. Yeah, so it's deactivate. I am now free. So if we do the same thing and go tap, hold, release. I'm sorry about that sound. So this is not going to be a tap now. Time since press. So that will fire the laser. Do that kind of thing. That's also good. Does that mean, was that all the, I don't think that couldn't have been all the variations of this, right? No, there's the detach issue. So if I tap now, was attached on down. This is incredibly confusing to me. So that is going to be a tap. That was just faster than a tap. Try that again. We're just slower than a tap, I'm sorry. That is definitely a tap. Right, so this is wrong. So I wanna know, like if it attached, if this was a press just to attach and it didn't have a target, I don't wanna. Good Lord. So if this was an input that, if for this press, this is why I kept it 2 buttons before, because this type of stuff is a little bit hairy. So if I press the button to attach, it will know that I wasn't attached before. So when I release, I don't want to let go or fire the laser. I suppose I do want to fire the laser. If the input is a tap, and this should work, damn it. Let's try that. Wait a minute, so this will be false. Right, so if this is true, let's just try it for a little bit. We'll see. If I'm gonna be like this the entire stream, we're gonna have to end early, because false, false, true, true, false, true. Can't remember which order I put them in. So it's tracing. If it's a tap, and if it was attached when I pressed down. So this works. It's just my logic that's wrong, which is alarming because I don't feel like I'm competent enough to actually fix the logic right now. But we'll walk through it slowly. So I know if it's like a first attach or not. So it's probably going to be this. It's going to be like an extra thing. So if it was attached, if it was not attached when I press down, and it is a tap, we don't do anything. I think I need to do it that way. If that's not true and it's a tap, we do this. If that is also not true and it isn't a tap, we do the third thing. And I think that's going to be enough for that. We'll see. The golden rule of debugging and solving things is change one thing at a time, and I keep changing two things to speed it up. It's not helping. So now I can, attaching and detaching seems to work, even if I press really quickly. If I press and hold, that also works. I think I'm gonna have to make the little click window thing bigger. And go up to like 0.3 seconds, but I do think that actually works, which is encouraging. Only took like, what, 15 minutes? But I did get it working in the end. Right, I just forgot how the controls work in this game. So now, for some strange reason, laser fire. Oh, right, it's not supposed to be laser fire, it's supposed to be fire. That's probably why. Much better. Okay, new thing that is happening. So if I fly up to an asteroid and press and hold a little bit too long and then let go, the laser will fail and that will detach me from the asteroid, which is not something I want. So we'll do something like... detach was fire if we just move this here. So that probably isn't needed either. I'm not even sure the explicit detach is needed here, but now this makes a little bit more sense, because that would be like, okay, you're using the same tool to like attach and drill, like that's the same tool. It doesn't really, it's hard to tell on stream what this all feels like, but one day you will get to play this. So now we can get rid of a bunch of cruft down here. We don't need that. We don't need that. This gets replaced by is input is tap. And then we try it again, see if it still works. Stranger things have happened. That seems to be doing it for me. It's also like, it's a hard distinction to make. Like, did I make the controls simpler or more complicated? Because before it was like drill, attach, easy. Now it's like hold to do that, press to do that. But I kind of like it. I I think it's an improvement. So this is probably not needed anymore. That one's needed, that's needed. This is kind of needed. It's also needed. I wonder if I ended up adding or removing more lines. So this is, I'm gonna set it up so, I suppose we can save the fire input because that is probably going to get replaced by something else. Merged inputs to use one button with holding, tapping instead. We'll commit this guy to to-do list. Awfully quiet in the chat today. I don't know what you guys are up to. So we'll do one more thing and then we can call it a day, I think. I'm not entirely sure what to pick though. Just gonna check something real quick. What else? What else could we do? Let's try this in the proper version for once. For once, just once, I guess. Compiling. If you're lucky, you can hear the fan on my computer going, working hard. I really need a haircut. I wish there was someone you could pay and they'd cut your hair. It's compiling so much. So much compiling. Just look at this guy go down here. I'm compiling in release mode because I don't know. This means it's kind of getting there. It's linking and it's running. See if this works on the gamepad as well. Okay, one thing that doesn't work is attaching and then detaching really quickly. It does work. Didn't feel like it. Maybe it's just... This is a strange sensation. Feels like it's sometimes not registering me wanting to detach, and that's not cool. We don't want that. I'm going to try to set this really high, see if that makes it worse or better. Bleep. That was actually an improvement, so it's probably this that just needs to be higher. I think it was 0.3 before. Yeah, let's make it 0.6. See what that feels like. It's going to be a little bit more of a delay on the drilling, but I can actually make the drill faster to compensate. make the drill ever so slightly faster. What's the name of that thing, I wonder? Charge speed. 20% faster. That's kind of a big boost, but hey. That feels good. I'm excited to try this on people, like actual people that are near me, so I can see what they're doing. It's probably like I'm a little bit torn because the first playtest session you have rarely ends up going the way you hoped it would. Because normally, if it's a single player game, I just play this 1,000 times myself and try to fix all the silly little stupid stuff that I can discover. Now, since I can't play it the proper way, like I can't play this in multiplayer, I can't really do that. So it's entirely possible that I get my friends over and force them to test it, and it ends up being like, oh, I didn't think of this and this, and I have to spend the entire session just trying to super quickly fix that. But that's sort of a risk you have to run if you're a solo developer making a multiplayer game. I keep pressing the wrong button because I haven't learned the new controls to my game yet. That's going to be good enough for me. So I am Yabu suggests that I would go bald to solve the hair problem. That is something that is probably going to happen to me in the future, so I'm working on it. I'm worried that the rounds are maybe a little bit too long right now. I think they're 2 minutes right now. Can that be right? Or are they 4 minutes? Because 4 minutes is a lot of time. They are 4 minutes. That's too much. 3. So this is going to be a good commit. So I made input tap threshold longer and laser faster to compensate. Also made rounds 2 minutes instead of 3. I think that's going to be the last change for today because I have somewhere I need to be and I don't want to get stuck in another half an hour giant confusion mess, which I'm sure I would because brain's not working really the way it should today, it seems. Next week, we'll see. Hopefully there will be a stream next week, but I am also moving to an office because this is my apartment you see behind me here. I am moving to an office next week on the Friday, maybe. I'm going to start the move then anyway. So there might be just chaos and all the stuff packed up, and I don't know. We don't exactly know when we get access to that the place yet. But I'll do my best to hook up some kind of stream. Tabby is asking if this is the same game I made for the Humble Game Jam. Yes, it is. I kept on working on it. I don't know where to go with that, but yeah, it is the same game. We'll see if there's a stream next week. I hope there will be. As usual, this will go on YouTube. You can watch previous streams on YouTube. You can watch future streams on YouTube in the future. Linear space time and all that. What else is there? You should follow me on Twitch because that is good for you. You can find, look, just like someone, hi Dio, just like he did, she did, they did. Follow me because that's cool. And we'll do some cool game dev next week. And if you have any questions, hit me up on the Twitter, send me a message on Twitch, whatever you want. The tools I use for stuff are below this stream as well. You can see them there. Thank you so much for hanging out. You're cool. I like you. Goodbye.